Welcome each and every one of you to my first episode of Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways. So before I start this, I'm just going to say that if you haven't played Resident Evil like on the normal game mode, on the normal new game, or watched some playthrough of it, don't care if it's mine or anyone else's, you might want to do that first, because Separate Ways kinda does spoiling the whole thing, the whole story of the game in a way shorter way. And yeah, that's what Separate Ways is. We play another character that's in Resident Evil 4, and well, we see the whole story out of that different perspective, and it's going to be way shorter than the main game. Also doesn't have this whole thing with weapons upgrading your weapons, but makes up for a good challenge and is fun as well, so it's worth to check it out. Anyway, let's just start this. So yeah, as you can see, Separate Ways is evolving around Ada Wong, pretty popular Resident Evil character that I really don't like, but nevertheless this game mode is worth playing.
I've taken on this mission is to get closer to my own objective. No matter what happens, I can't let anyone figure that out. Of course, hiding in the shadows isn't my style. I'll have to reveal myself to him and offer advice once in a while.
Yeah, there we see the first section of the main game being observed. There we see like Ada's ridiculous movements that aren't really practical in any way. That's one thing. I think one thing I really don't like about Ada.
So
I'll just let them talk first.
Arrive at the village on time.
Yes, but nobody remembered to roll out my red carpet.
The villagers there are all being controlled. They automatically attack any intruders. Ring the church bell. That should quiet them down for a while.
Sounds like they're good, obedient boys and girls.
Unfortunately, time is not a luxury we have. Gather as much information as you can about the parasites and finish off this little tour.
So, it's about to start. I'm just going to really quick going to check if my settings for recording are set right. Yeah, my settings were set right. So let's just start this. So our first mission is to ring the bell. If you remember still what happened here, it was like we just saw it. Leon was starting a fight in the village. We played that fight as Leon already, and what we have to do now is we have to get a key to open one of those locked doors, and then we can proceed to ring the bell to help out Leon. The fun thing here is like we already saw how the whole fight between Leon and the zombie started, but actually we really can take our time to do this, and we will. What we're going to do is we are going to kill as much of those enemies as we can. Oh shit. Right. Well, that's one thing that also sometimes happens to me as Liam. I know a lot of this about this game, but now that I think about it, I don't really know if there's anything like a pattern in when your knife attacks stack an enemy and when not. Well, because I really never looked at it too much, but is there something like if you hit a specific part, like hit the face, and they will always be like stopped in their tracks, or does it need like a specific amount of hits, like every second hit stops them in their tracks or something like that? I really don't know that. I might try that out in the future, but not while playthrough, I guess. Not while recording a playthrough. So like this time I think I just... Well, he was on the ground when I hit him with the first knife attack. Well, I think it's really not worth to think too much about that right now, even though it will be stuck in my mind now. So let's talk about this game mode in general. First of all, I'm just collecting a lot of stuff, because like in the main game mode, you have to organize your inventory, you have to collect money, not for upgrading items. Like weapon upgrading is like the most expensive thing in the main game, and the main reason why you start to collect stuff. Well, not the main reason, I guess. So yeah, now there's a chainsaw guy, we know that one from our playthrough. So back to what I was talking about, you don't need to upgrade stuff, but you still will encounter the merchant every once in a while. And that guy will then, when you meet him, offer you to buy some weapons. Even though you can't upgrade weapons, you need them. Oh shit. That was really bad of me. Well, I guess I should use this one right now. There are like a bunch of people all in one place. Very beneficial to use that one. Yeah, I thought so. Oh yeah, up there is the key that we are supposed to take. I guess I'm going there in a moment. Well, especially because like this game mode is way shorter and you don't have to do so much. You also don't have to, you can't get that many treasures as you get in the main game, so but therefore the treasures here are really crucial. So if you really want to get your stuff with Ada, you want to get all the treasures. Here it is. Actually, I would recommend definitely to buy the treasure maps that the marksman sells. In the main game, I would recommend it, especially definitely for beginners. If you're feeling really comfortable with your knowledge about the game, well then don't take the map and show off your great skills and just find all the treasures without help. But in the separate raids, it is like that, you know, in the main game, in the end, you won't have anything that you can buy with money. There will still be some stuff that you didn't got, because in one playthrough you don't get enough money for all your upgrades, except for if you're using some kind of glitch or something like that, I guess. That should be possible. I'm just going to use another grenade because... I guess that wasn't... Oh, that was okay. That was okay. Yeah, the explosion radius is kind of weird, especially the hitbox, how far it goes for enemies and how small it is for you. And just got hit again. That wasn't good. Going to use up this thing right now. Also, you might hear me a lot of bitching around about Ada Wong and her role in the game, because it is no secret that I really hate Ada Wong. And well, I was in that cutscene. I was about to talk about one thing that really annoys me about her. That thing was, I really don't like the way that Ada's always smug about those scenes that are they are not possible to be like planned out by her. If you watch that scene, like she did all this ridiculous, kind of basically useless movement that someone in an actual fight never would use, and I know it's a video game and it's about being flesh and stuff like that, and then she's so smart about this piece of wood not hanging, like being very loose, so like, and I don't know, was it the piece of wood, but somehow the rope of her like grappling hook gun kind of wrapped around the leg of the guy and pulled him up in a way that he punched over the woman. So like that is nothing that she pulled off because she played it out smart. That was like sheer luck, but it all gets displayed like her being super smart and calculated and super skillful. But in my opinion, it just turns out to be like super ridiculous, and well, I can't really take her serious. She's just one of those characters that in the story just get away with everything, and I really don't appreciate that. She's just one of those characters where I always wait for her to get something really bad happening to her, just for the sake of that shit happening to her and watching it. See her going down because of her ridiculous moves and stuff like that. And sometimes in Resident Evil we get scenes that kinda give me a little bit satisfaction. For example, in the newest animation, I don't know if it's still the newest, I heard there was something a little bit newer coming out, or came out, but like the second animation movie about Resident Evil, I highly recommend the animated movies, the like Hollywood cinema movies for Resident Evil with how's she called, Mila Jovovich. I really don't like those movies, to be honest. Like when I watched the first and the second one the first time, I thought, yeah, like they are pretty good. I thought they're entertaining, and well, as blank action movies they are, but yeah, looking a bit deeper into it, they really aren't good movies if you ask me. And once you are a little bit into the Resident Evil lore, then you might hate these movies, because like they are making they just don't make sense if you just try to mash them together with actual Resident Evil lore from the games. And yeah, the animation movies do a good take on it and just fill up some things, like give us actual Resident Evil main characters, like Leon S. Kennedy. Well, like Leon S. Kennedy. Leon S. Kennedy is the main character of both of the movies that I watched. I'm just being really generous with using my ammunition right now. I just became a little bit tired of shooting these guys, and I also like there's an infinite amount of enemies. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hightail it. I got the key already, so I think the door I have to seek for is the one right there in this direction, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong. Most likely they're just about to trap me. Yeah, they're here, there are. Or at least one of them. Well, going to kick him out of the way and hide him. Oh no. I'm at the wrong door. But I'm just going to run at this point because there's really not. Oh shit. I'm just going to run now, I guess. It wasn't this door, was it? Oh, it is this. It is this one. Okay. Oh, there we have the trader. Oh shit, snake. Ah, oh, snake hit me. Ah, I want to kill that snake for the egg. Give me your egg. I got the egg. So, let's see what this guy got for us. First of all, we are going to sell these things. Obviously, wanna upgrade the marks.
Thank you. Not enough cash. Not enough cash.
Yeah, I really don't have much cash for anything. I actually think like I think this might be actually all of the weapons that we see in the whole playthrough, because Ada doesn't get as much weapons as Leon. Well, there is still a crossbow. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about is like in this animated movie, the second one, it plays in somewhere close to Russia, I think, and it's being like the same basically, if you know a little bit about the viruses and parasites in Resident Evil, we have this Las Plagas parasite in Resident Evil 4, which we are playing right now, and this Las Plagas thing, well, it got basically enhanced a little bit, but it stayed mostly the same. So the zombies we have in Resident Evil 4, in Resident Evil 5, are behaving really similar to the zombies here. If you watch a little bit of my Resident Evil 5 playthrough, you already saw like really early in the game you reach this checkpoint where Leon, not Leon, where Chris is talking about, like, I think it's in the beginning of the second chapter or in the end of the first chapter. There's like Chris, the main character, and he's talking about the behavior of the people here is really similar to the behavior described of the Granados in the Kennedy report. Kennedy report is named after Leon S. Kennedy, the main character of Resident Evil 4, and obviously the Kennedy report refers to the report that Leon gives after the events of Resident Evil 4. So even the games tell you that it's really similar. I'm really confused where all these people come from all of a sudden. Well, I mean, I know that they are here, but now that I'm playing it, it really looked like there were two people coming out of the door. Once I turned a little bit to the left, there were two more people just beside me. Oh shit. And now I'm going to combine this with that, and this with that, and consume it. And, well, in the Resident Evil movie I was talking about, they also have like the same thing going on, like in more like the Resident Evil 5 ones, where the transformation isn't triggered by an injection, but going on way faster, and due to like this actual, mostly like adult parasite thing shoved deep into the mouth of the guys who shall be transformed into zombies. So yeah, And there's like a civil war going on, and it is kind of like the rebels are buying like BOWs, and I watched that movie like 3 times, but I kind of forgot if both sides were I think both sides were using BOWs. Yeah, in the end it were both sides, definitely. There are like Granados roaming around. I'm not sure on whose side the Granados are in that game, in that movie. Well, they are not Granados, but because Granados are exclusively used in Resident Evil 4. But the standard zombie guys that are behaving like the zombie guys here, they are really a lot. Well, I don't really know on which side they are in that movie, but anyways, the whole movie, I don't want to go through it, but it's really entertaining. It's worth to watch. It really gives you a good taste of what Leon is doing in between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 6. And Ada is having her appearance as well, and I just love her appearance because she, well, it's so fucking funny, because that's actually a movie where I can say like Ada got her ass beaten. I mean, in the end, of course she gets away with it. Of course she is smug about it, and she's like, she had everything planned out. But there's like the scene where Ada just confronts this other female character that is pretty strong, and then she wants to hightail it, but she gets locked with her in a room. So he just is like, okay, then I get it. You wanna get beaten up by me? And this woman is like super, like she's like training military troops in hand-to-hand combat and is super fucking strong. And she's just beating Ada's ass, while her like servant is watching the whole thing instead of stepping in, because he fucking knows that that woman doesn't fuck around and she knows how to handle Ada. So in the end, Ada gets knocked out or something like that, and then she's like waking up in this dark room, and she's tied. Her hands are tied to the ceiling, and then Ada's like doing some acrobatics and getting a knife or something out of her shoe, and it's like freeing herself with the words amateurs. They didn't even check me for like hidden blades. And like very shortly after, it turns out they wanted her to getting away there, just because they wanted to see what she's up to. So that's like a really satisfying moment for me, this whole thing. Like, first off, Ada gets beaten up, and then she's like super smug about it because they didn't even check her, but in the end they wanted her to get away. And well, that's just a little bit satisfying for someone who hates Ada as much as I do. If you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm wondering that as well. It's those symbols are different than in the main game, when I can remember correctly, so I'm just checking on them, and I just forgot that because I was talking. So it's S, it's V, and it's oh no, that's not even the one. There it is. S, V, and M. Maybe it was actually the same. I think so. I think it was the same. They were the same, like in the main game, but well, I might be wrong on that one. S, V, and M. So let's just do the 3. Take the 4. Take the 4 again. Then we take the, not 3. We take another 4. And now we take a 4. And another 4. And a 3. And another 3. And another 3. And we are good. So yeah. This is like a nice thing about this, about the subgrades thing, because like throughout the main game of Resident Evil 4, Leon is again and again interacting with Ada in one way or another, and occasionally Ada helps him out of sticky situations, and like there are actually some things that doesn't make sense if you really think about it in the main game, unless you play Separate Ways. Because like we just now got this thing, and we really can't get out of here without using that thing. So, without placing it here. So what we have to do is, we have to get another key item that we place there. And in the main game we get here and... oh shit. Oh, I think the, like, being hurt animation... just stopped me from being able to be hit by the explosion, because I think I was in the explosion radius. Well, anyways, like we now got the key item, or like we almost got the key item, but we need to get something else to replace it. Oh, shit. Okay, that was a really stupid death. I have to admit that one. Well, we're gonna replace that with another treasure. And for Leon, the treasure that we put there in is like an actual treasure that we just sell. For Ada, this treasure is a key item and she uses that to replace it. For some reason Leon doesn't have to replace that thing when he gets it out. For him the door just stays open. But also we will lose the key item later on, after we used it. And as Leon we find this place, which actually is like just raising questions. You will see that. And there we find the key item, and also like before we find the key item, like we get a hint, we get a letter. We receive a letter from Ada that tells us where the key item is, because she left it there. And also this episode is turning out way longer than my usual Resident Evil 4 episodes, I guess. But yeah, I also don't really know how long the episodes of these things will be. I just think I'm going to go for the next save point. And then I'm going to call it an episode. I thought about like doing the whole chapters, because like we have 5 chapters in the Separate Ways thing, and I thought like doing 1 episode each chapter, but I guess the chapters are a little bit too long for like being in 1 episode. Well, we'll see. Maybe this chapter's already almost done. Also, like, one thing I really don't like about how Ada is displayed in Resident Evil, and I told you that I will brag a lot about Ada being a character that I really don't like, in a franchise that I actually like a lot, is, like, especially in Resident Evil 6, once I play that, or if you have played that already or watched someone play it, you will know how Ada is displayed in Resident Evil 6. And if you go through the story, it is like, I won't spoil out Resident Evil 6 too much, but it is going something in the lines of I'm actually not that much in... I don't have that much in mind how Resident Evil 2 was like, exactly. Ada made an appearance there, and well, Ada was like this character that you really couldn't talk too much about if she's good or evil, just because you didn't know what her motives were. And once you got a little bit deep into the game, it kind of turns out that she is kind of working for this evil company, like Umbrella, but at the same time she's like having her own goals a little bit or something like that. And well, in the end she got this moment where she basically being really generous and not doing just her own thing, not thinking about other people, but instead thinks about the main character and stuff like that. And well, then she helps out in that fight, and she really got in danger and is really injured, and then she gets saved again. And it's this whole thing about like she's actually an evil agent, but she kind of has her own thing going on and is maybe more neutral, but no one really knows. And then she kind of is good in the end, but then she also gets away, just doing her own thing again. What no one in the end really knows what it, and no one really in the end knows what her own thing is. How did I do this one? I think I did it stupider than more stupid than I did last time, but well, it worked out, so not a big deal. So yeah, that's what she is like in Resident Evil 2 when she first appeared. She's this mysterious character, and you don't really know what you're up to with her, and she kind of works for the evil, but she also sometimes works for you in your favor. But it is a little bit like this, where she never really does anything that isn't like helping her to get forward, until you have that point where she kind of almost sacrifices herself or puts herself in danger for you. And yeah, that really is like, okay, maybe she got like, maybe she's on the right side at all, but kind of just doing it her own way, accomplishing something good. But then you have like her thing Resident Evil 4, which on the first glance kinda really got the same vibes. So you have this like, she's really mysterious, we really don't know what she's doing, she's working for the bad guys, and she sometimes helps Leon, stuff like that. But if you watched Resident Evil for my normal gameplay, did I just put the thing? Oh yeah, I just put that thing again there, which I wanted to keep. Stupid me. Well, so what I wanted to say is, it may seem really similar to like Resident Evil 2 at first, but once you finish the game, and especially if you then play like Resident Evil 5 and go on, it's like in the end Ada received the sample, and Ada gives the sample to Wesker, and it's that very same sample that Wesker used to create the stronger parasite, the Granados 2.0, the Plagas 2.0, that just is well, she is responsible for all the deaths happening in Resident Evil 5, and not even that, she's also responsible for a lot of dead people in the civil war that happened in the movie that she also appears in. Because like the fucking Plagueis virus 2.0 that Umbrella was created on the basis of the studies that they did on that very same sample that Ada received and brought to them. So now at this point it's really clear, like she doesn't intend to do good stuff. If she would be like a really generous person in general, like if she would be really one of the good guys, then she never would have given the sample to Wesker, because like she's literally responsible for thousands of deaths. But then we come to Resident Evil 6 and you will see that she is so much displayed as the secret hero behind the lines. And this is something that really bugs me out. I really hate it, how she is displayed as such a good character, and like there's this whole thing about her identity. You will see that where basically she has monologues bragging about how much she is of a good person and how much like the people who think she's bad don't really getting her and stuff like that. And well, if you think she is bad, you're not getting her. You just see what she is. She's a bad person responsible for thousands of deaths, bragging about how much she is a good person. And also, like, this is another thing, like Leon is a really cool character in the general Resident Evil franchise, and I really like the way he's written, and except for this one part, this part where he has this weird like love affair with Ada, where he kinda is really into her, but well, it never really happens because she's way too mysterious for him, for anyone at that matter. Well, and like Leon knows that. Leon knows about the incidents in Africa. Leon is in the Civil War. And Leon was here, and he knows that she received the sample and that she gave it to Wesker. But he completely ignores that fact. He's like, oh yeah, she's in her deep in her heart, deep down in her heart, she's a good person. And that's like really bugging me out, because I really like the character of Leon, but this is just so fucking wrong, and it doesn't make any sense. At this point you should be more like, you know, Ada your heart and stuff, and you saved me once, but actually you're basically a mass murderer, and if I can't get you and lock you down so you can be brought to court, so you can be held responsible for your actions, then I might rather kill you so you don't be responsible for another 1,000 deaths. That might be the best choice. If she refuses to come with him and be arrested or something like that, because that is what actually should happen, if you ask me. Leon should be out for her, getting her dead or alive, because he knows what she's done. Yeah, that's the right one. This is right. And it's this one. That should be about right. Yes. Yeah, I really fucking do hate Ada Wong and her role. Like, there's this whole thing going on with Ada. Like, I really like the story of Resident Evil. Like, of mostly everything with of the game series is, I really like it. yeah, I also like Resident Evil 6, which a lot of people don't like, but I also like that one. But one thing is, so like, what really bothers me is like, even good characters, even characters that I like, and once they interact with Ada Wong,
Bingo.
everything is shitty. At least that's how I feel. And I guess I did a complete chapter in one episode, so you will have a really long episode, or like you already had that long episode, and I guess I tried to keep it up that way, trying to...
Here's what I know so far.
Okay, let's watch that cutscene first.
Cult is known as Los Illuminados. They've resurrected some sort of parasitic organism they call Las Plagas. That's all my organization knows for sure, though Sadler's occult activities seem worthy of investigation. The Salazar family, Castellans for generations, possessed the ability to control Las Plagas. The organization's hypothesis is that a unique frequency of sonic wave, sensed only by the parasites, is used to control them. The same principle used in dog whistles. This was inferred through the analysis of a tissue sample we retrieved. The tissue contained an organ presumably used for sensing sound waves. I've seen cult members carrying ceremonial rods, and I wonder if they emit these sounds. Of course, this is purely theoretical. The organization needs samples of the parasite to confirm or disprove these theories. That is the main objective of my mission, and the only way to prove my loyalty to the organization. The opening moves in this chess game have been played. There's no turning back now.
Yeah, this is again like, she acts up like, oh yeah, I'm only trying to get that sample, so worst case, like, trust me, so, because for some reason she needs that this evil organization trusts her. Maybe she has something good in mind, but actually she gives the thing to them and they literally kill thousands and thousands of people. Really don't know what good she could try to achieve with that. Anyways, I did like around 40 minutes, I think, and yeah, I guess I try to keep it up like that, that I do like basically one whole chapter every episode, and if I can keep that up, I have like 5 episodes, and then I'm done with Separate Ways. Maybe I have to split some of those chapters into more than one episode, but anyways, if you like hearing me talking about Resident Evil lore and how much I hate Ada Wong, then this is the video series for you. Because actually I can be really butthurt when it's about Ada. I just hate this character so fucking much, and I like this series so much that makes it even worse. Like, I hate her even, I hate her especially, I just hate her even more because of the fact that I like the series. Because like, she just is, she's just this thing about the series that makes it, instead of being super amazing and extremely awesome, to being a good story. It's just good and not much more, and at least that's how I feel about it. I really like it, but I think like I enjoy it more than I would enjoy other stories that are like on the same level. And now I'm like talking about general Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil 4 is really outstanding though. It's just like maybe I'm just a fanboy, but like everything about this game, it's just so entertaining, and you can play it so often. I played it so fucking often, and it's always entertaining. And even this game mode, which is completely based on this character, which I hate with a passion, with an unbelievable passion, even this game mode is like enough fun that I played it around 10 times now, I think. Like this must be like something in between the 7th and the 10th playthrough through the Ada Wong storyline that I do. And yeah, I just think the whole Resident Evil thing, like from Resident Evil 1 to Resident Evil 6 and even 7, I don't know, I didn't play 7 yet. I think this whole thing is like would be even much better if they would have just changed Ada or kept her out of it. The way she was in Resident Evil 2 was completely fine. In Resident Evil 4 she's like, nah, I don't know. Especially if you have this like separate race things which kind of focus on her. You gotta learn to hate her, I guess. You don't have to, but most people will, I believe. And well, then in Resident Evil 6 it just gets so fucking ridiculous and everything around this character is so shitty. And well, that's the thing. I like the story of Resident Evil 6 in general, but I don't like it as much as, for example, Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 0. And I even think I like Resident Evil 5 more, even though that is basically my least favorite Resident Evil game that I played so far. Mostly because of the controls, I guess. The story is like, I think I would like the story of Resident Evil 6 more if they would have like not, well, that's hard to say. They evolved a huge part of the story of Resident Evil 6 around Ada, and that is really just such a downer that I like the story of Resident Evil 5 more. Even though I think that it shouldn't be too hard to create a better story than 5, because I really don't think it is an outstanding story. It got its moments, but yeah, it's not that special. The story of Resident Evil 5 isn't really something I appreciate too much. And Resident Evil 6 story is like, it has two downers. One downer is like, it really generally lacks an interesting antagonist if you ask me, which is always a huge pro for a story. But the other thing that bugs me even more than like not having a really good antagonist is like this focus on Ada that you have through the whole game and the general display of Ada. Yeah, I don't like that. Now I just talked a lot while I was in the screen where I can save my file, so now I'm at around 50 minutes, I think, and I'm just now going to save now, and I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I am going to see you in the next episode. Bye.